Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to give you a breakdown of the latest Naira Trader prop firm rules. Now, if you don't know what Naira Trader is actually a Nigerian based or Naira based, the one and only Naira based prop firm where you get to buy accounts for as little as 9,500, 200k accounts with as little as 9,500. You get your account in Naira, you trade in Naira, and you also get your payouts in Naira. So what they do is that they give you accounts in Naira to trade where you make profits and you get 70% profit split. Now, if you want to know more about Naira Trader, make sure to check this other video where I did a complete breakdown on how the platform actually works. Now, the reason why I'm doing this update or making this updates on their rules is because there are certain things that they've actually updated in terms of their rule, which you need to know before getting an account with them so that you don't lose your accounts by breaking those rules unknowingly. So the very first one I want to talk about over here is when you are in some certain phase, whether it's phase one or phase two, you need to pay attention to the 20% drawdown rule. Now, there's a little bit of tweak that has been added to that 20% maximum drawdown or trailing drawdown, right? Which is it should not go below 19.5. All right. So what that simply means is that if you have an account, let's say for example, and you are in a drawdown of, let's say, 18%, for example, you should not say, okay, I can, maybe if you are putting your stop loss, you have to put stop loss where you are still aiming for, drawdown to go around 19.6 or 19.7, because once it gets below 19.5, it doesn't necessarily need to get to 20%. You have breached that account. So this is one of the updates that they added to their 20% drawdown. So what I advise basically is to, in your head, just know that the maximum drawdown should be 19%. So that will give you the psychological shift for you to not breach your account because of this particular rule. So that is one thing that has been added, or that's one thing that has been adjusted in terms of their rule. Though it's still almost the same thing, 20%, 19.5%, but you just have to take note of this. All right. So now they also have a scalping rule. All right, they also have a scalping rule which made scalping to be prohibited. Now, if you take any trade, you make sure to hold that trade for at least 4 minutes. All right, if you take trades, then within 3 minutes or 3 minutes 59 seconds, as you can see over here, you close that trade, it is still going to be within the rules and you will breach that particular account. So as you can see over here, it says scalping up to 3 minutes and 59 seconds is still counted as 3 minutes. So we recommend holding your trade for at least as 4 minutes. So if you're a scalper, then you might want to be targeting, let's say, holding your trade on average of 5 minutes or 4 minutes time or 4 minutes. But to be on a safer side, 5 minutes is just okay if you're a scalper. You can still scalp, but you have to try to hold your trade for as long as 4 or more minutes. So that is another rule. Then the inactivity rule still remains 7 days. So what that simply means is that at least you should place one trade, all right, within 7 days so that you don't get that account breached or get the account taken away from you, because that would mean that the account is inactive. All right, so this is another rule that you want to also pay attention to. So make sure you are active, all right, and keep trading. Now, this, if you go to their website, all right, which is nairatrader.it. By the way, if you have been trying to access this prop firm using nairatrader.com, that won't be accessible. So it has to be nairatrader.is. That is their new URL if you want to get this particular prop firm. Now, if you go to their website, if you want to have access to this particular rule, just go to the section that says rules over here. Then you scroll down. Now, this is a breakdown of using the 200k account as an example, or explaining the 20% maximum trailing drawdown rule. So if you want to have a visual of what it feels like, you just go to the website nairatrader.is, then come to the rules section, then you have access to all these rules over here. So, but the main takeout from this video, right, is that the 20% is a little bit adjusted to 95 to 19.5. So if your drawdown goes below 19.5, definitely you are going to breach that particular account. Now, another rule that I also want to also point out is the KYC, the way KYC is done. Now, according to what they say here, they say once a trader achieves 10% of their funded accounts, they must complete KYC before making any withdrawal. Now, here it also says when you hit 10% profit, for example, you can request KYC verification. So if you're trading an account like in your founder stage, right, and you hit 10%, you will have to request for KYC verification so that you get verified in terms of KYC. Then after passing KYC, you can instantly withdraw your profit. That's once you've gotten to your 10%, right? Now remember, now is no longer 10% cap, right? It's no longer, so you can actually make more than 10%, right, before you withdraw. But the maximum, all right, is 100%. Meaning, if you have, for example, a 200k account and you make, let's say, for example, 20k on top of your 200k account, you now request for KYC. Then once you get verified, you can, out of that 20k, you can withdraw 70%, which is your profit split. Now, if peradventure, let's say you make extra 200k on top of that, your 200k account, right, which is 100%, you can still request for withdrawal after you might have done your KYC, which is 70% of that 200k. But another thing to also note there is that the maximum amount they can pay you profit split from is 100%. So if on a 200k account, for example, you make an extra 200k, or let me say you make an extra 250k, the 50k is going to be removed, right, while your 70% is going to be calculated based on that 200k, which is your profit on top the 200k account. So that is another thing to also note. Over here, it says if you exceed 10% profit without doing KYC, any profits beyond that point will be removed. So what it simply means is that, let's say, for example, if you are trading and a 200k account and you made, let's say, for example, 30k and you've not done KYC, your profits, 10,000 out of that 30k profit is going to be removed, right? And it says that any profit beyond that point will be removed. You will only keep the first 10% until you verify. So to avoid all this drama, what you should simply do is once you hit 10% of that account, right, just request for KYC. Once you are done with your KYC, you can continue trading. It's as simple as that. So guys, these are some of the updated rules on Naira Trader. If you don't have an account with these guys, make sure to sign up using my link. This is the one and only legit and paying Naira based prop firm. All right. Take care, guys, and do have a lovely trading week ahead. Bye.